We're gonna talk about how to, and I'm gonna show and break down how to build CM game multis, right? How to build different game multis, like one player from each game, right? What would void your ticket, right? And give you a little insight on, how I approach, building my bets and these things, right? So first things first, let me launch this scanner. All right, it's kind of updated on 9:51. Right. So sometimes you may get earlier updates. You may see an 8 o'clock update, a 6 o'clock update, right? But most of the time, this is a regular update, right? They update around 10 a.m., right? Then 2 p.m., right? Around that time would be the next update, right? And after 2 might be around 6, right? So it's like 4 hours apart, right? And after 6, you may get a 9 o'clock update, right? And then the system, it wouldn't do anything because basketball or sports, the odds only show up the next day, right? So it'll shut down after the last update at 9 p.m., right? And then it will start over in the morning again, right? Because you won't get any odds for games the next day. It hardly ever you'll get odds for the game for the next day. All right. Yeah, so let me explain and break down how to build your parlays, right? So first thing first, right? There's player props and there's same game multi, right? Player props is if you want to build a parlay with one line per game, right? And let me explain what is game. Let me go to the NBA here, right? And you'll see that this is a game. This is a game. This is a game. This is a game, right? This is a game. This is a game, right? So each one of these are games. And if you want to build one line per game, right, then you need to use, right, player props. So you go to player props and you pull that one line from the game. If it's maxi, I'm just doing an example here, and we have over points, right? You're not going to be able to place any other line from this particular game, right, to do a multi-bet, right? You could do individual bets, right? But you're not going to be able to do a multi-bet here, right? It's not allowed to do that, right? So you need to go on to our next game now, all right? Go to the Brooklyn Nets, any other game, go back to player props, and you could only select one person again, right, from that particular game. It don't necessarily need to be a person, right? It could be, yeah, it's player props, right? Right. So yeah, it had to be a person, right? It cannot combine or join with anything else, right? So let me clear this here now. And probably you wanna build a ticket, with multiple players in a particular game. All right. So you want to go here, right? And probably want to look at multiple players in this particular game, this Atlantic Hawks and Philadelphia 76ers. So you don't want to go on player props, you want to go on same game multi. All right. And when you go on same game multi, now you have the opportunity to add multiple lines. It could be on the same player as well, and you see everything is going to be updated here and added here, right? You could drop down this menu here. You could take off back a particular line. You could check it back. It's totally up to you, right? You want to add here. You want to go to the Siam Tyrese Max. You want to add here. Lovely, right? So you could build how many lines you want in one particular game. Now, be mindful, right? If you build a ticket, right, with individuals of the same game, right, and any person did not play in the game, mean that he didn't play any minutes in the game, the whole entire slip of this particular game will be voided, right? And you're going to get back your money, right? So I want you to understand, I'm going to repeat it, right? In a same game multi, that particular ticket, now this is a ticket here, we're going to add it here. This ticket, if any player, right, doesn't play any minutes of the game, they need to register a full minute to be legal in the game, right, that they were going to pay you on the bet, right? And this goes across in all sportsbook, right? If one player stays out, he doesn't play the minute, this ticket would be voided. Now hear this, right? You could make your bet here, right? You could add how many players you want. I think the maximum probably is about 11 or 12 players, on a ticket per one single game, right? You could make your bet here. Probably want to bet $10, right? But what if you want to do another game. All right, you want to do another game with multiple players. So you want to go to Boston Celtics, right? You go to same game multi, right? Because player props cannot combine, with same game multi. They're not going to allow that, right? Everybody clear, right? Drop a one in the chat if you're clear with that, right? Don't worry, and this recording is going to be, we're going to put up the recording as well, right? Lovely, right? So you can't do that. So you need to do is go on the same game, right? And you need to put 2 lines on the ticket in order to get it across here to build your parlay, right? So if you want 1 line, Jalen Brown, right, you're not going to be able to add it, right? You need to have at least a minimum of 2 lines to build a ticket on a same game multi, right? So you could probably cheat the lines. When I say cheat the lines, it probably is over in points and something as close as possible, points and assists, and you want to just add it in, right? Or just to have 2 lines, right? So you could put it in. Or if you want to put more players, right, you could do that, right? One from here, offered for under 3 made, right? And you want to add your ticket here, right? So you're adding tickets. Now you can add any amount of tickets, same game tickets, to build a big parlay here, right? And it's going to be bigger than the player props. Reason being is that the player props, if it only have 4 games available, that means it's only four lines you could have. So that's the max you could build, right? Or if there's 12 games, well, then you could build 12 lines. But with the same game multi, right, you could build any amount. You could build some big, huge parlays, right? Just because of this principle here that applies, right? You could do another game with multiple lines on the same game multi, right? And you could add it in here, right? Odds multiply with odds, right? So the reason why this went to 31.36 is that they take the 6.40 and multiply it by 4.90, right? And let me show you that. All right, so just so you'll have an idea. So check the odds here. It's 31.36, right? 31.36. All right, let me go to the calculator here and let me multiply. The first ticket is 4.90 multiplied by the second ticket is 6, sorry, 0.40, and it gives you the 31.36, right? Which is exactly what you're seeing here, 31.36. Everybody following? Drop a 2 in the chat, if you're following. Right, lovely. All right. So you could build as much. You could come with another 2 line, and if it's a 2-to-1 and you drop it here, this 2-to-1 will multiply by this 31.36, will double this to a 62 or 63 leg parlay, right? A 63 odd parlay, sorry. Right? Now, again, the same principle applies. If any person on a particular ticket, let's say this ticket here, the ticket weighs 6.40. If Jalen Brown doesn't play, right, this whole entire ticket here would be voided. Not this ticket, right? The ticket of all the players in that same game is going to be voided, right? And they're going to minus the 6.40, right? And they just multiply the remaining odds, and this is how your odds will reduce. So if it's just these 2 bet and this ticket win, you just get paid on 4.90, right? If this bet and this bet win and it's 31.36 and you have another bet, right, that is a 2-to-1 carrying it to 63 odds. If the 2-to-1, right, although the odds is just 2-to-1, if that game void, you get paid on 31.36. Everybody following? Drop a 333 in the chat if you're following with that. Right, lovely. And this is how you build, your bets, right? This is the whole entire breakdown on how to build your bets. Now, I'll give you some little insight, right, in, building your bets a little more better, right? Your parlays and strengthen your parlays a little bit, right? Now, parlays, when you're building big parlays, is risky. You don't want to be dropping 100 US on a parlay to win 70,000 US and these things. No, right? You want to put like $5. I mean, I could afford it, right? So I'll put $20. You see me putting $15, and that's no big deal. I could lose $15, right? 2 times, that's 30 US because I'm winning on my main bets. My main bets is the one that I put the 100 on, the 200, the 300 on, and these things. So I'm winning on my main bets. So you don't want to be at the person who is waiting for the lotto, building the parlays, waiting for the lotto to put $100 on it, but your main bet you're putting $5 on, right? That not making no sense, right? Because which one is more likely to hit, right? The main bet, not the parlay, not the lotto, right? The reason why the name speaks for itself, we call it a lotto, right? I mean, it takes a little luck as well. There's a lot of analysis, behind it, but it takes a little luck as well because you need all these different lines, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12, 15 lines, right, to come together at the same exact day, right, on that same ticket, right? How do you use to find ladder bets? Did you looking at things like player time and lose? No, you do your analysis to the bets, right? So you ought to do your own analysis, right? First thing I check is the streak, right? I look to see who is on a particular streak on a particular line, right? This guy here is on a 14-game streak on this particular line. You can look at that. That's good, right? He crossed the line 100% in 5, 10 out of 10 in 10, and 14 out of 15 in 15 games. So this is a good line. You could check lines like that, right? Also, I tend to check difference, from the line to see where's the biggest difference. So like LaMelo Ball, right? The line is 40.5. He's averaging 26.8, which is a difference of 13, right? This is a huge difference, from his average to the line. So I check these things as well. If you're looking for the over, right, you could flip it here, right? Just click it, right? And you're going to see all the difference from the line and the average, right? And you could, it gives you a good idea on how to choose your bet, right? If you're looking for probably a person interested in the last 10 games, right? You just click here, you get the arrow facing down, and you'll get the 100% starting here, going down to 90, going down to 80 here, right? You could probably change this page here to 100, so you could hold a little more, right? And you see, go all the way down. It's a lot of lines, a lot of lines that you go through, right? A lot. Probably you want, 15 games, the percentage are ranged in 15 games, right? And you could do that as well, right? The most who go in over in 15 games. So you could do that here as well. And probably you want to check under. All you have to do is click it back, right? And it will flip the percentage from 100, right, to 0 starting to the top, right? So once you're seeing 0 here, just remember this is the line. And if you're not seeing any percentage, that means it didn't go over the line. If you're seeing 10% here, right? For instance, let me go down here, right? And you're seeing 10% here, that means he went over 1 time and stayed on a 9 times. So it's easy to read. It's not complicated at all. The scanner is very, very, very easy to read. All right. So yeah. So that means if it's 0%, towards this line, the percentage is in relation to the line that it's scraped from the sports book, right? So you know that, hey, in 15 games, he didn't go over, right? So this guy's same points and rebound, right? Let me go here, and you could check the 15 games, you could check 20 games, right? And he stayed under, 20 out of 20. So incredible stuff, right? The scanner is doing for you. All these different research we had to do manually before, right? Try doing that, with 3 kids, right? Two going to school, one is a newborn, running 2 different businesses as well, right? And dealing with customers and growing the business. That used to be a lot of work for me to put away those hours to build my parlays, right? Now, this tool was really designed for, for personal use, and, we created a business out of it, right? So yeah. Also, right. So a little insight to, what you want to strengthen your bet with, right? Is although you get all these different lines, right? I tend to look at steals. I tend to look at blocks, turnovers, 3 points made, right? And steals and blocks, right? So this is powerful. These 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is very powerful, right? I may select it to see if you get something out of the ordinary. Sometimes you might pick up something, right, that stake not supposed to offer, right? For instance, let me go on the blocks alone, right? And I'll give you an example. So let me go on the blocks. Let me look for under on the blocks. All right, lovely. So you see Derek White here, right? They have him for 1.5, right? Blocks and under. In 5 games, he never crossed that line. In 10 games, he went over 1 time. So this block, right? I like this, right? I love this. 1.5, I very, 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 very cool. Cool like a cucumber with this, right? Look at this. This is cool. And 1.5, I mean, hey, they're really supposed to give you a under. This is what they're supposed to give you, right? But I feel like they make a mistake and they offer you this. They're not supposed to offer you this, right? He ain't getting 2 blocks in a, I mean, he could get it. It's just to be in the right place at the right time. But look at the stats with this. And on top of that, right? His minutes is fluctuating. He's not a player that is getting a consistent, 30-minute game, right? He's not a starting player. He's not one of the lead players, right? He's an off the bench player, right? So I'll take all that into consideration, right? So the blocks, right? This is pretty cool. I don't mind taking a bet on this, right? And parlaying it with something else, right? RJ Barrett for block. The 0.5, I'll be very skeptical to just go with a raw 1 block and you're out, right? Although this line looking real good, stats look real solid, right? 3 in 20 games, right? But still, I like that breathing room. So I'm giving you my secret sauce in how I build my arm lines. Isaiah Hartenstein blocks 1.5. This is cool as well, right? We could pull up this, right? And this is just for blocks, right? So you have that wiggling room with our 1.5, right? Turnovers, I like turnovers, right? 3-pointers as well. I like 3-pointers as well, right? So for instance, let me take out the blocks. Let me do the 3-pointers. All right, and let me do the under. I more favor the under for 3-pointers, right? All right, so I would look at this here, and this look good. Cameron Payne for 3-pointer made 1.5. Let me check Cameron Payne here. All right, and this is looking good. Right, under 1.5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Under 15 games, I'm liking this. Under 20 games, he had 1, right? So 19 times he stayed under that, right? And what I would look at too is how frequent he's shooting the trees, right? Now, this is not bad. This is not a lot of trees. 3 attempts. This is attempts, right? This is 1 tree made in 3 attempts. He had 6 attempts here, right? But this is not bad. A normal 3-point specialist would take about 17 trees in a game, right? Let me look at a specialist. Let me look at let me look at Kobe White, right? Jason Tatum, all right? All these guys are special. LaMelo Ball. Let me look at LaMelo Ball, right? They are specialists in 3-pointers. Look at this, 10 attempts, right? He made 3 out of 10, right? 12, 9, 13, 7, 13, 11. Right, let go back. 13, 10, 9. So when you see somebody attempting 3, in a game, right, or 2 in a game, that is cool. And most of the time, right, what has happened is that, probably they get the ball and it's 2 seconds in the quarter remaining and they pelt the ball from half court and that would record as an attempt. How much of you all understand what I'm saying, right? Drop a 222 in the chat if you're following what I'm saying. So all that goes down and record as an attempt as well, right? And it's not a legitimate attempt. Even when the game finished and they pelt the ball at the rim, right? All that goes to their stats, right? So it damages their record on their stats, right? So who I'd look for as well? I'd look for tall players, right? They are go-to players that I look for, right? Like Giannis, right? Very rare Giannis will even shoot threes. All right, he's not playing tonight. Then there is another guy named Edie, right? That is playing for the Memphis Grizzly, right? Then there's Singun, right, who plays for the Rockets, right? These are players that, and you could find your own players as well, right? So he's not playing right now, but we could pull up his stats still. There's a good thing about the scanner. The scanner gives you stats even for the players that are not playing. You could still go back and check certain lines, right, if you want. So Singun for the Rockets, check this, right? If you go to 3-pointer here, right, he's not even attempting any 3-pointer, Zero attempts, zero attempts, zero attempts. So anytime this kind of picks up this line for me, right? I'm taking this line, right? This is like free money, guaranteed money. Yeah, you could lose, right? You had that one instant day, right? Where it have up days that he did go over, right? But I'm cool losing my money like this, right? Will this meeting be available in the group? It will be posted on the website tomorrow, right? Because I don't want to post it in the group and these things and person want to access it, who's inactive now, right? So yeah, so look at this here. Sengun, all right? His attempts in 15 games is 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Right? A specialist, a 3-point specialist will shoot 14 in one game. Right? So this, you gotta understand all these things, guys. So look at the attempts. Right? Are they shooting the trees? If you do pick up the 3-point line, right? Sometimes they make mistakes and you are able to pick it up. Right? The same guy, ED, right? Let's pull him up. All right. ED. Zach Edey, right? So, and Sengun is one of the tallest players in the NBA. So these tall players, right? The only tall player I ever see shooting threes is Victor Wembanyama, right? But you don't normally see tall players shoot threes, right? Based on their position in the court as well, right? They're not supposed to shoot threes. They are specialists for 3-pointers, right? So these players, these tall players, they play a more, position under the key, right? Under the key meaning around the rim, right? That is where they're supposed to be to catch rebounds, to catch the lob, to catch the alley hoop, right? To put in the ball, right? So you use all that information under your belt. So he ED as well doesn't attempt any trees, right? Yeah, you'll get that one occasional loss on your ticket and cool, but majority of the time this is an easy win, right? And you do get 3-pointers and under with this individual as well, right? This is like sure money, right? This is sure money, right? Who again? We are Sengun. We are talking about Giannis. All right, Giannis. Right. Giannis as well is a very aggressive player. He's not a 3-point specialist, right? So you're going to see here that he don't take a lot of 3-point attempt, right? So this and all too is like sure money as well, right? So the scanner is going to be able to pick it up for you. If you could catch it, if you could catch the update as early as possible, right? Because the lines will be fresh. They're going to be out there before stake remove it, before the sportsbook remove it, right? So not only 3-pointers, there are blocks. There are people who can't block any ball. Like all right, let me go to blocks. All right, and we go to blocks. They look for the under. These are things that you want to more look for under on. Right? I look for under on these trees and I look for under. So you see him Derek White, right? This is not bad, right? But there are players like Kyrie Irving, but he's not playing right now, he's injured. Right? But his height, right? Steph Curry, his height as well, right? They ain't blocking anybody. And if they do block somebody, all right, consider yourself unfortunate or unlucky, right? That's all. Right? But there are some lines that you could always go to make some money, right? Still proper risk management, practice proper risk management as well, right, guys? Right. So yeah, Miles Turner blocks 2.5. That is cool, right? 2.5 blocks in a game is plenty blocks, right? That is plenty blocks. Yeah, he had 4. Yeah, he had 7. Yeah. I don't know what's going on here, right? But this is cool, right? This is plenty wiggling room because more time than not, right? He's under this particular line by far, right? He's even under the 2 more times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? So this is how I analyze the games, analyze the markets, right? I'll take in consideration the person time as well, right? If they are off the bench player, right? Now EDs are off the bench player, meaning that he's not going to start, right? So he's not going to get as much minutes, to even attempt a 3-point attempt, based on his minutes, right? So if you go back to ED, right? Zach ED. right? And you check his minutes is small. His minutes is very poor, 22, 21, 19, 26. Yeah, you get some good minutes here, all right? Probably they're running me. I don't know why. Probably they must be on top. All right, but he do play a lot of minutes, right? So for him to, he's not even attempting a lot of threes, right? He's not a starting player, right? He's not getting the minutes, right? So that's cool. So this is how you gotta start analyzing, right? I'm not saying use these players in particular. I just give you an example, right? Now, one of the key to be successful, guys, right? Players repeat themselves, lines repeat themselves, right? So what you're supposed to do, you're supposed to have a book, right? And when you lose on a particular person on a line, you're supposed to have that recorded. And when you win, right, you're supposed to have that recorded, right? Because we go back to the same players. Ja Morant, we've been cashing that Ja Morant under 41, right, point 0.5, right, for the longest time. Yeah, we lost one based on the overtime, but I've been winning that bet. So why would I want to look for other bets, right, when I have Ja Morant playing, right, and I'm cashing that line? You understand what I'm saying? Right? Drop a 444 in the chat if you're following that as well, guys. Right? So from the minute you see games come up, you're supposed to go back to your book and you have to have proper journaling and proper documentation. Right? You know, you want to put Kobe White, Chicago Bulls, right, under 4.5 trees, right, and you know, and you put the percentage payout if necessary, right, and when he win, you win that line, right, you know, all right, let me see for today, let me see if Kobe White playing. So you look at your players that you always win with. You get a pool of players that you win with, and you go now to stake and see if these players are playing tonight, and you go for those players. Don't try and get new players, right? Yeah, you want to have a big circle so you could keep on rotating them and you could keep on shifting them. So when these players are not performing the line again, you have other persons that you could go to. But you want to keep milking, you want to keep beating those players and milking those players as much as possible, right? You don't want to go to a new player just because you see he's under 100%. You want to go to a new player, or is over 100%. You want to go to that new player. No, right? Build that relationship, right? When I say relationship, I don't want to be in a relationship with the player, but relationship with the player's line, right? Understanding it, right? And knowing that, hey, right, this person been winning because at this particular line for the past 5, 6 games, right? I'm gonna go to that person. Like Pascal Siakam, we killed Pascal Siakam, right? For the longest while earlier in January, right? Every time we get a PRA for 18.5 or 20.5, we taking that, right? We beat that. Isaiah Hartenstein, we beat that for 16 point something, right? Until he line went straight up to 20 something, right? So when the line is no more, then you revisit other players and you get new players, right? So yeah, somebody was asking a question. So this is basically some nice tips here in a nutshell, right? That you could look at, right? You look at everything, but if you want to zone in and anything in particular, right, you could do that, right? Sometimes I tend to zone in on PRA alone, right? I like to look at PRA alone, right? The other day I built a parlay, right, on 3 pointers alone, right? And I lost by one line, and that would have paid me a thousand US, right? And all I did was just 3 pointers alone, right? And I look for unders alone, right? And I build a parlay, right? Pull up the 3 pointers, and what I did, right? I went into each game individually, starting from 7:30, right? Look for the unders, right? And started to take two players here. All right, 90% chance under. All right, taking him. The Angelo Russell, 90%, taking him for under 3.5. And I went here, build it, put it across, and I went to the next game. Boom. All right, pull up the players for 3 pointers alone in that game. All right, check for the unders. I look for two players again. Right, and I build a whole entire ticket, out of, two players from each team, same game multi, just like I thought earlier, right? And I was able to come very close to making money. And you could do this, as much times as possible. How much bets you want to build, you could build. Just be responsible with your money, and you're gonna get through, right? I've seen persons, I'm using $5 and cashing out $140. Right? There's a guy on the team, I don't know if he's on the call. Right? He told me he turned $100 into $1,000 and he only started a month ago. right? He asked me, where where he was doing with his life from before, right? Because he now involved in sports betting. 100 USD to 1,000 USD in less than a month. I think it was the 26th of February or something like that. He came on, right? Less than a month, just about 3 weeks ago, right? So, and using small money, you don't want to be greedy, right? You get a line paying 50 to 1 and you drop half of your account on it or 20% of your account on it, right? No, take your time. You drop the $5, you win 100, right? Is that 20 to 1, $5 give you 20. Don't be greedy, right? Now you use from your profits now. You know how much $5 games you could get with $100 now that you make? You see right here, right? Yeah, bro. Right. And here we want to do in the future, guys. We want to make a Telegram group, right? And we gotta get somebody to build a bot, right, to ensure the persons who are active in that Telegram group, so you could remove persons because the WhatsApp group. We don't know the persons who are in the WhatsApp group, right? Remember, persons are signing persons and they are getting involved, right? So we wouldn't know, and we don't have the manpower to just remove people and search every single day. So the bot will pull persons from the Telegram group, on a daily basis, right? And once they pay, they're going to be able to add back themselves, right, through the back end of the website, right? And then we'll have certain persons, right, that we'll give that power to, right, designated to build bets, right, as members or customers build bets and share their bets, if they decide to, with the rest of the team. And you have the opportunity to take and share bets with each other and ask and discuss lines with one another, right? So that is something that we want to make, in the near future, probably a month from now. We're going to take some time, got to build, make sure we have it right, all right? And we're going to get it done. So we're going to make a big community of persons sharing ideas, right? As a person new to this, do you guys send signals on bets every day? Every day. If you're new, when you say how new, how many days now? Because we send two bets today, no? Oh, today, yeah, every day, every day we do a call. If I'm only available to do the call, right? I would send the bet out, all right? And anytime I do a call, all calls are recorded as well. All right, so that is it there. Any questions before we wrap it up, guys? All right, but again, too, don't be dependent on my bets. My bets, right? The risk tolerance, my risk tolerance is very aggressive. Sometimes you see me take a game, right, for probably under 1.5 trees, and that person cross the tree about 40% of the time, and it's just a 60% under. Sometimes my bets are like that. You have the opportunity to reanalyze my bets, right, and make a decision if you want to take it or not, using the scanner, right? So you need to be comfortable, right? My predictions are just what I'm comfortable with, right? So I hope you all understand that, right? You don't have to take it, right? And you don't necessarily have to take it. You could do your own one, right? Use mine just as an example. Take a pattern from it. If you want to take it, right? But I don't want, to build this dependency like as though, hey, Mike, we need Michael Bet. No, we're trying to create persons here, right, who don't need us, right? You just use the scanner, right, and you could live off of this, right? The scanner is here forever. We are building on it. The scanner, when it's completed, is going to cost nearly close to $1 million with all the features and functionalities going to be in the scanner, right? It's going to look like a spaceship when it's done, right? Something from 20 years from now, it's going to look like something from the future, right? And we want to create persons who could actually resign and live off of it, right? Even though you're working your job because you're passionate about your job, you just like it. It's not for the money, because you could drop 1,000 US, right, or 500 US on good bets we are accustomed with and you're comfortable with, and you can make that on a daily basis, right? Because the first thing first, when people come on and I send my bet where I comfortable with, and they take my bet and I lost my bet, and then the next day I lost my bet, then you're gonna hear now, ParlayProz losing, right? All your losing plenty, right? We don't want none of we don't want none of that. You have everything here, right, for you, right, to make your bet, design your bet, and you could win here, guys. I just don't like doing the 1 to 8, right? I don't like doing the 1 to 6. I cool with a one game, a 1 to 1, right? I like the lotto bets. I just don't get the time for it. It's a new business. I have plenty overhead costs to pay on a monthly, right? And I had to make money to finish the rest of sports. So I do have time to sit down and do the parlays and thing, right? As a new business owner, I have to get the company up off the ground. So I have a lot of work to do, questions to answer, people to meet, presentations to do, right? Building the business. Because if we don't build the business, right, and I don't get the money to keep the application running, right, well, then we can't have the application for everybody to use, right? So we asking persons if you could just share the platform, you're going to get compensated for it residually. But if you could get a couple persons each, right, to keep the business afloat and keep the business running, right, that would be fantastic. All right, so I appreciate you all as always, guys. All right, I learned so much today. Thanks. You're welcome. It has two bets today in the picks. Yeah, it had two bets today. Yeah. I'm not a sports person, so it's a bit plenty. No, you don't need to be a sports person. When you release NFL and NHL, I'm not a sports person. I don't understand NHL and these things, right? But when I see a line, right, when they pull up and I get a line, trust me, you're going to make a lot of money in the NHL and the NFL. You see, I'm going to give you all a little secret here. You see this here? Right? Where you could go down, like say the rebounds, you could go down by 1, 2. That is it, no? You're going down just by 2. In the NFL, right? You see the NFL, you could go down by about 30 and 40, right? You could go way down, The NHL and all too, right? The only difference is that, all right, when I go down here, right, the odds is a 1.43. So that's the lowest you could go down on the odds. If I go down in the lower on the 3 here, right, at 1.5, the odds go to 148. But if I go to the NHL, right, I do have the NFL now, so I'll have to show you an example on the NHL, right? When you go down on a particular player here, let me see if I could find one here, right? Let me say you go lower, right? The odds go down even lower, 1.19. So this is cool. This is good, right? But you could get even lower odds. So you may have to put more persons on a ticket, right? And let me show you something here, guys. Check this with the goalie, right? Saves. You see the saves? This is incredible. If you pull up the goalie, right, and you see what he did in the last 10 games, in the last 20 games, right, you could actually, all right, so 25, right, let me say he never crossed 29, right, you could push this to more than the 29, right, you could push this to 20, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, right, and start at 17, right, when we bring out this is going to blow your mind. Yeah, the odds very low on it, but now you could add this to let me say, all right, let's say he's averaging 25, right? All his saves is over 26, but you're getting 17. So it's a guaranteed, almost guaranteed win. So you could drop this here now, right? And what this is going to do for you is that when you go back to the basketball and you get two lines, right? Let me say you go to the Hawks here, all right, and you go to player props, right, and you get, let me go down to our low line here, 13, 12, all right, 12 is the lowest. So you get a line here, and you drop that line here, and you go to our next game, right, to add your next player, right, and this line might be, let me drop our next line on Jalen Brown here, on rebounds, straight down to 4, right, and you drop this line here, right, this guaranteed luck just boosts your parlay to 2 point over 2 to 1. You see how powerful that is, guys? So if you take out this, you had a 1.95, you might have a 1.8 something, 80, but just dropping that line on it is going to carry it way over the 2 to 1. Very, very, very powerful stuff, right? So yeah, you could drop the odds by 30, 40 points in the NFL, right? NFL, all these sports, right? People are making millions of dollars, right, on it, right? And we didn't know. We didn't know. We from Trinidad, we backward, right? We still feel cryptocurrencies are scam and all these different things, right? We don't know nothing, right? And all these people from the States, right, is betting the Super Bowl, is betting that NFL, and they are making millions of dollars. Right now, we have now access now to something that they don't have access to. Right, this tool that scrapes the entire sportsbook, present the odds for you, right, and arrange and sorts all the players that going over it, right, whatever percent at the time you want to find out, and what percent under the time that you want to find out, right? You don't need nothing else to win, right? Or everything is in your favor here to win, guys. All right. So yeah, appreciate you all. Have a blessed one.